Hey guys, Rickard here. Let's talk about something crucial in the world of dating. Something that often goes unsaid but massively impacts how women feel when they meet someone new. We're talking about fear. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Fear? What is she afraid of with me? But it's often not about specifically. Not at first anyway. It's about past experiences, societal pressures, and the inherent vulnerability that comes with opening up to someone. Women often grapple with fears of wasting their time, getting emotionally invested in someone who isn't serious, being misunderstood, or even losing a part of themselves in a new relationship. These aren't trivial anxieties, they're real, and they shape her approach to dating. Understanding these undercurrents is absolutely essential if you want to build genuine, lasting connections. It's not about playing games or using tricks, it's about developing empathy and awareness. When you can see the world from her perspective, even just a little, it changes everything. It allows you to navigate those early interactions with more sensitivity and insight, transforming potential misunderstandings into moments of connection. This isn't about changing who you are, but about becoming a more conscious and considerate dater, someone who makes the journey of getting to know each other feel safe and exciting, rather than daunting. So, the purpose of this video is exactly that, to pull back the curtain on these common fears women experience when dating. We're going to dive deep into what they are, why they exist, and most importantly, I'm going to give you practical, actionable advice on how you can address them. Think of this as your guide to becoming the guy who not only attracts her interest, but also earns her trust, and makes her feel genuinely excited about the prospect of building something real with you. By the end of this, you'll have a clearer roadmap to fostering deeper, more meaningful connections. One of the biggest, and I mean fears women carry into the dating scene is the fear of emotional unavailability. This isn't just about whether you're single or seeing other people, it's deeper than that. It's the fear that you might be physically present, you might even say all the right things, but your heart, your true emotional self, is closed off. She's wondering, is he capable of genuine connection, or am I going to invest my feelings, my time, my energy, into someone who will always keep me at arm's length, someone who can't or won't truly let me in? This fear stems from past hurts, from seeing friends go through it, or simply from the intuitive understanding that a relationship without emotional depth is ultimately unfulfilling. It's the dread of hitting an emotional brick wall. So how does this fear manifest? You might notice her being a little cautious. Perhaps she doesn't share deeply personal things right away, or she might seem to be observing you very closely, trying to gauge your reactions and your level of engagement. She might ask questions that seem to probe your past, or your views on relationships. Not to be nosy, but to get a sense of your emotional landscape. If she senses you're guarded, dismissive of feelings, or quick to change the subject when things get a bit more personal, those are red flags for her. It's a protective mechanism kicking in, designed to prevent her from getting too attached to someone who can't meet her emotional needs. She's looking for signs that you're not just looking for a companion, but a partner. Now, for the crucial part, how do you show genuine interest and alleviate this fear? It starts with being truly present. When you're with her, be her. Put your phone away. Listen actively, not just to respond, but to understand. Ask open-ended follow-up questions that show you're engaged with what she's saying. And here's a big one, don't be afraid to share a little of yourself. I'm not saying pour out your deepest traumas on the first date, but share your thoughts, your feelings about something, a relevant experience. Show empathy. If she shares something that's bothering her, acknowledge her feelings. That sounds really tough, or I can understand why you'd feel that way. Consistency is also key. Let your actions consistently show you're invested in getting to know the real her. Another significant hurdle for many women is the fear of judgment. This is a pervasive anxiety that can color her entire dating experience. She's worried about being judged for her opinions, her past choices, her career path, her ambitions, her quirks, her vulnerabilities, even her appearance or her family. In a world where everyone seems to have an opinion on everything, the dating arena can feel like a high-stakes courtroom. She's wondering, can I be my authentic self with this person, flaws and all, or do I need to present a carefully curated, perfect version of myself to be accepted? This fear isn't about her lacking confidence, it's about seeking a safe space where she can be open without fear of ridicule or criticism. When a woman is afraid of being judged, she might hold back significantly. She might be less forthcoming with her true thoughts and feelings, opting for more neutral or agreeable responses. You might find conversations stay on the surface level, or she might seem overly anxious about your reactions to what she says or does. She might even subtly try to gauge your opinions on certain topics before revealing her own. This isn't her being deceptive, it's her testing the waters, trying to figure out if you're someone who will embrace her for who she is, or someone who will pick her apart. The desire to be seen and accepted for our true selves is a fundamental human need, and the fear of that not happening can be a powerful deterrent to intimacy. So, how do you create that crucial safe space for open communication and dismantle this fear? It begins with active, non-judgmental listening. When she's talking, truly listen. Don't interrupt with your own story unless it's truly additive and empathetic. Validate her feelings, even if you don't necessarily agree with the specific situation or her conclusion. Phrases like, "I can see why that would be frustrating," or "that makes sense that you'd feel that way," go a long way. Avoid giving unsolicited advice. Often people just want to be heard, not fixed. And importantly, be willing to be a little vulnerable yourself. Sharing a minor imperfection or a past mistake, appropriately of course, can signal that you're not expecting perfection from her either. Emphasize acceptance through your words, and more importantly, your actions. Let's talk about commitment, or rather, the fear surrounding it. For many women, this isn't necessarily a fear of commitment itself, but a fear of investing in someone who isn't capable of, or interested in commitment. It's the fear of ambiguity, of mixed signals, of being led on. She's thinking, is this person genuinely interested in building something meaningful, or am I just a temporary placeholder, a bit of fun until someone better comes along? This anxiety stems from the desire not to waste precious emotional energy and time on a connection that has no real future, or worse, to be left heartbroken when the other person reveals they were never truly on the same page. It's the fear of the emotional rug pull. This fear often manifests in her trying to decipher your intentions without directly asking, especially in the early stages. She might pay close attention to the consistency of your communication. Do you text regularly, or are there long, unexplained gaps? Does what you say align with what you do? She might subtly bring up future-oriented topics, not necessarily marriage and babies on date 2, but perhaps mentioning an event a few weeks away to see if you include her in those thoughts. She'll be hyper-aware of vague statements, of you avoiding labels, or of you being reluctant to make concrete plans too far in advance. These can all be perceived as signs that you're keeping your options open or aren't serious about her. So, how do you address this fear and express your intentions clearly, without putting undue pressure on the situation too early? It's about clarity and consistency. If you are genuinely interested in seeing where things could go, let your actions and words reflect that. This doesn't mean you need to declare undying love after a few dates, but it does mean being straightforward. For example, instead of saying, "let's hang out sometime," say, "I'd love to take you to that new Italian place on Friday night." Be consistent. If you say you'll call. As things progress, it's okay to express that you're enjoying getting to know her and are excited to see where things lead. Avoid playing it cool to the point of being cold or ambiguous. A little reassurance that you're on the same page, or at least heading in the same direction, can alleviate a mountain of anxiety for her. Another common fear women encounter is the concern over past relationship baggage, both yours and potentially their own, and how it might impact a new connection. She might worry that you haven't fully moved on from a previous partner, that you'll constantly be making comparisons, or that unresolved issues from your romantic history will spill over and create drama in your budding relationship. There's also the fear that if you had a particularly messy breakup or a string of short-lived relationships, it might indicate a pattern or an inability to maintain a healthy, long-term connection. She's essentially trying to gauge if your past is truly in the past, or if it's an active saboteur waiting in the wings. This fear can surface in a few ways. She might ask questions about your exes or your dating history. Now, this isn't always about prying or jealousy. Often it's an attempt to understand your relationship patterns, how you speak about people you once cared for, and whether you've learned and grown from those experiences. She might also be hesitant to share details of her own past for fear of your judgment, or for fear that you'll see her as damaged goods. If you speak negatively or obsessively about an ex, that's a huge red flag for her. It signals you're not over it, and she doesn't want to be a rebound or a therapist. How do you reassure her and navigate this sensitive area? Honesty with appropriate boundaries is key. If she asks about your past, be straightforward but avoid oversharing unnecessary details, especially negative ones about an ex. Focus on what you learned and how you've grown, For example, that relationship taught me a lot about the importance of communication. Reassure her, through your words and actions, that you are focused on the present and the potential future with her. Show her that she is not being compared to anyone else. If she chooses to share parts of her past, listen with empathy and without judgment. The goal is to demonstrate that you are emotionally mature, have processed your past, and are ready to build something new and healthy, unencumbered by old ghosts. A fear that resonates strongly with many modern women is the fear of losing their independence. They've built lives they're proud of, careers, friendships, hobbies, personal routines, and a sense of self. The thought of a new relationship potentially encroaching on that, diminishing their autonomy, or requiring them to give up parts of themselves can be a real concern. This isn't about not wanting to be close or not wanting to build a life with someone. It's about wanting a partnership that enhances their life rather than subsumes it. They fear a relationship dynamic where their individual needs and aspirations get overlooked, or where they feel controlled or suffocated. You might see this fear manifest if she emphasizes her busy schedule, her commitment to her career, or the importance of her friendships. She might be cautious about merging your lives too quickly, like wanting to maintain her own space or have separate nights out with her friends. This isn't a sign she's not interested. It's often a sign that she values her individuality and wants to ensure any partner will respect and support that. She's looking for someone who wants to be a significant part of her life, not her entire life, and who also has their own fulfilling life to bring to the table. It's about addition, not subtraction. So how do you support her individuality and reassure her that a relationship with you won't mean losing herself? Firstly, genuinely respect her time, her commitments, and her personal space. Don't act put out if she has plans that don't involve you. Secondly, actively encourage her pursuits. Be her cheerleader. Celebrate her successes, whether they're career-related or personal hobbies. Thirdly, and this is crucial, have your own full life too. Having your own interests, friends, and goals makes you more attractive and demonstrates that you understand the importance of individuality. Communicate openly about expectations regarding time spent together versus time for individual pursuits. Frame the relationship as a team, two whole individuals coming together to build something even better, rather than two halves trying to make a whole. So there you have it, a deeper look into some of the common fears women carry when navigating the dating world. The fear of emotional unavailability, of judgment, of unclear intentions, regarding commitment, of past baggage interfering, and of losing their hard-won independence. Recognizing these fears isn't about pointing fingers or making excuses. It's about fostering understanding and empathy. These anxieties are often born from genuine past experiences or valid concerns about opening oneself up to another person. The first and most powerful step you can take is simply to be aware that these feelings might be present, even if unstated. My hope is that by understanding these underlying currents, you feel more equipped to build connections that feel safer, more genuine, and ultimately more fulfilling for both you and the women you date. The advice we've discussed today isn't about performing a role. It's about making conscious choices to be more present, more reassuring, more respectful, and clearer in your communication. Small shifts in your approach, actively listening, validating feelings, being consistent, respecting individuality, can make a profound difference in how she experiences her time with you, helping to transform her apprehension into excitement and trust. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on these fears? Have you encountered them, either in yourself or in others? What strategies have you found helpful in building trust and connection? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. Let's create a conversation around this. Remember, dating is a journey of learning and growth for all of us. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Rickard, and I'll see you in the next video.